Hello, this is Neil from Team Teacher, Teaching, Living and Raising a Family in China. Today we are going to look at a New Year PowerPoint. So this is uh, my New Year PowerPoint lesson, and basically I split it between a Western New Year and a Chinese New Year. So I emphasize that with the Western New Year, that it's basically one evening is the most important thing. So December 31st. And I say it's just one big party, people dance, people make noise. And I emphasize one big tradition that we have is the countdown. And I'll get the students to do the countdown with me from 10, 10, 9, 8, and then we'll all say a big Happy New Year. And I say when the new year comes, we set off lots of fireworks. It's very beautiful, it's very colorful, and we have a big, big party. So I very much gloss over the Western New Year because they're not going to be that familiar with it, and I don't get into too many details. But I kind of want to give them just a general idea of what it's like and what we emphasize. And then I go into a fun song by the Key Boomers about Happy New Year that kind of brings it all together. Then after the song, I will ask some questions about the Western New Year. You'll notice that these answers are very simple. It's because the everyday language is not New Year language. So I'm trying to keep it as simple for them as possible so they can, use their deduction. And the main point of this PPT is we're looking at Chinese New Year. So what they know of Chinese New Year and how that is explained and said in English. So I emphasize that Western New Year is based around the sun, where the Chinese New Year is based around the moon. And that's why it changes between January and February, whereas the Western New Year stays the same every year. And I say that red is a very important color, and red signifies luck. So you have lucky money, and they come in the red envelopes. And I ask them if they like lucky money, and obviously they very much do. And here's a point that I try to differentiate for the students is between fireworks and firecrackers. I say fireworks in the sky, firecrackers on the ground, high, low. I try to emphasize as much as I can with my body language. And also that they do dragon dances, and sometimes I mention about the red lanterns. And there's a great video by the British Council called My Favorite Day, Chinese New Year, which more or less goes over all the traditions of the Chinese New Year, just like I have done, just to reinforce a couple of those facts and vocabulary. And then I'll test the students again on the vocabulary. And again, I will keep it very simple so they can use their deduction and kind of work out the answers, even if they can't remember it. And then I break that up again with Chinese New Year song from Key Boomers that's very fun and again reinforces more of my vocabulary that I'm trying to get across. Now, what I like to do is I always like to try and tie this unique vocabulary for holidays like New Year to vocabulary that they already know. One great way to do that with Chinese New Year is the Chinese Zodiac. So the Chinese Zodiac has these 12 animals, and I like to go over quickly that the animals have different personalities, and each year is a different animal. And I'll get them to say all the different animals. And then I have this great song by Dream English Kids, What's Your Zodiac Sign? It's very catchy. It's very fun because the students have to say the animal name and also do the animal action, which helps them remember. And after we come back from the song, we go over the year and what animal it is that year. So 2017 is the rooster. And that's because I want to see what animal they are. And I give an example of myself that I am a pig, which they always like to taunt me about. And I see if I can get them to say my structure that I've got on the board. And because we're talking about the Chinese zodiac, I also want to get into the story behind that. There's a great video by British Council called The Great Race that's got some subtitles. It's quite slow and it's very easy to understand. It's my go-to Great Race story video. And before I show the video, I emphasize to the students that I want them to remember how many animals and what number they are. So pig is number 1, number 2, number 3, and I try to let them know that they have to remember because I'm going to ask them some questions. So they watch the video and then I'm going to ask them questions about the animals. So how many animals were there? Which animal was number 1? Which animal was the last number, etc. And to tie up the class, I actually have 2 activities that I pick and choose from depending on how much time I've got at the end. An easier one is to do this, which is charades. So they have to act out the animal and the students have to guess which animal it is. Or if the students are a little bit more advanced, you can have students describe the animal and the other students have to guess which animal it is. Or you can do a combination of both. It's up to you. Well, remember, if you do want this PowerPoint, feel free to go to TeamTeacherChina.com and have a scroll down the teaching section and look for the New Year PowerPoint. It's free to download and we're happy for you to do that. If you do like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel for more great content. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.